Hello and welcome, and let's continue on within the series of cryptocurrencies. I left off with the letter E, and I'm going to start this off by showing the allocation of my portfolio as it stands at this point. My number one largest holding is that of Litecoin. 57.897%, with Bitcoin in at 22%, or the collective of the two is 4/5 of my portfolio bankroll. I spent $48 last year at the crypto fair to get it. Well, you know what? As far as Litecoin is concerned, I like it, I love it, and I want some more of it. But this is about codes F through however far I'm going to go, and Faircoin is on here, right here. 0.2. I mean, it's my 10th highest one. Well, I've got many good deals on such to make that number so high. And then going down below, this would be the remainder of the codes in which I am holding. So Faircoin, completely in a bear market. There's just no denying such, and it's done very poorly since its summer highs. Again, with a lot of these codes, just something I want to get in, play the gains, and that's it. I have not got into Factom yet since, well, the last time I was in, that was a long time ago. Price action from this recent high has had a small leg lower, and it's really not doing much more ever since. Folding coin, FLDC. After this leg lower, it came down towards previous resistance in December. Small leg up to the 18 average. It's got a long ways to go yet to break the trend. It's at the 18 average of lows now. Don't know if I think it's going to have its next move as a significant down move, maybe below 230 or lower, or if it's going to have significant gains higher. Time, of course, will tell. Florin coin, FLO. It had a significant drop, falling. Well, first it was at like 2,600. It has a decent fall to 1,400. There's half your value gone. And then falls down and pretty much loses half its value from this top in here. Well, since the last green candle up, it has stayed within this 18 average, keeping this very neutral. I do like how since the last few days it's managed to, well, today's session particularly going up after the market looked like this yesterday. It's a spot where, okay, after green candle up, small red one down, as you were lifting off from the 18 lows, that's, if a bearish spot can often be a sell indicator, but not the case so far. Feather coin, FTC. When you look at the size of these moves that you can get, like, it's just a lot of great gains. So this is why I am a part of this coin. Game credits I am not in. I probably could enter in at this situation. It's down a little bit. It's grinding its way lower. I do have a line entry point at around the 17 handle. Geo continuously going down. I bought some as it was barely breaking below, and I added a little bit more to it as well again today. Gold. This is the bullion metal. I don't have many gold coins. I have 4 gold coins and 1 gold bar, and they're all in small sizes. But we have a situation after this move which matched previous resistance of September, making the higher low. It's only price correction that went below the 18 average since the rally started in the middle of December, quickly making it back up to its previous upper end area. We'll see if it can hold, congest, and stay within this mark, but very bullish sign to say the least. Let's move back onto cryptocurrencies and GRS, bubble block coin. And it is just hanging in within the 18 average band, staying sideways for several days. So when stuff like this happens, you just wait it out for the most part. Nothing to see here, as it was stated in a South Park episode. But that's the truth. Nothing really to see there. It's as boring as anything. Two situations for Guppy getting above the 18 average highs and then quick retracements. This is a situation where after coming down about the 3100 handle, had a nice little rally up to 5400, but it immediately came back down to the 18 average band and then continuously going down since. Yesterday's session, it had one of those moves making it above it and then breaking down. I'm supposed on the shorter term time frame we'll see it more clearly. And yeah, so here's this little rally attempt here, and it just got immediately denied within. So the bears are still in control of this market. The patterns from before, when you see a lot of downtrends, you need to see stuff like the band flattening out, and then you see, okay, make a nice little resistance level after a band flatten, come back, all these types of things you were looking for. This one showed signs, as was holding the 18, it might be ready to go. Then when it broke out, there was decent amount of days if you wanted to get in for a leg higher. Well, there was one leg move up. Ignis, this is something that's on my watch list. Obviously, it just started out, so there's not much more I can do with this, other than put this on the 400-minute time frame, and I'm just going to wait a bit. Let's see what happens after a few more days of market movement. IOC coin, that is the next one. I own this and the ION, I think, but or I might own it. IOC, that sounds familiar that I do. Yep, I do own it. And we had the situation of coming up to this resistance just recently. So I've talked before in part 1 about Fibonacci downside. You have a significant leg lower. You have a price rally. And this is about as small as what I'm going to look for. But that'll still do the work. And then that would basically stay. It wouldn't be a surprise if this level doesn't support, that it would go down, break below the 20 handle. But as far as what markets need to reverse, one of the stages is for the band to flatten out. And that's what it's doing now. And to establish a level of resistance, it has to have a clear, nice break above the highs. This is not. So if it has any rally up to anywhere near here, 34, 35, I would be saying that's the next stage. Stage number 2, establish resistance. Stage 3 coming back, and then stage 4 breaking that point. ION, which is next, it has just broken down below this support. 2 sessions ago, it had a move breaking down below the 18 average of lows. Yesterday's session, a little bit of a small move, but it also barely pierced the previous support mark and further decline in today's session. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing has at least an okay further decline, maybe down to 20,000 Satoshi, even up to 20 to 22,000 Satoshi as its next key support level. Komodo I am very heavy on, obviously, as it is my number 5 holding at 1.618% of my bankroll. I see those numbers come up so many times, the 618 and it's more often than random, but this was a web bot call to do very well at the end of January. Obviously, that was not the case. It's hasn't broken down either. After the big gain, it has basically been making a descending triangle, major support level at the 45, but a downtrend line here to say the least. Price action, yesterday's session managed to get above the 18 average, but it has retraced back a little bit. If we take a look at this on a 1-hour time frame within yesterday's move, it's pretty much retraced 61.8% within this move. So when these things break out, sometimes they're just going to go, and that's just going to be a great situation to get in early, sometimes not the case. But for myself, I'm just going to keep on arbitraging this and try to increase the amount of KMDs that I hold for when this thing, I think, really pops. And I think it will. There's going to be some significant gains. And this is almost similar to how Litecoin is. Not as amazing, though, in the sense that it comes up to a big level, decent pullback. Big level, decent pullback. With also this failed breakdown move. It's actually a very similar chart to Litecoin on that sense. Then it comes back up to its previous high, and then it just stays and holds above an area which it didn't before. So this is very similar to how Litecoin looked before it broke the 0.0185 handle. Let's continue on this forward with Core, K-O-R-E. And it's just hanging in there, grinding its way within the 18 average of lows and the previous support. Again, downtrend, waiting for significant moves and actions to at least revert the trend. The band is not flattening out yet because it's got to get above this 18 average of lows and stay within the band for that to be the case. But if it just sticks with the 18 average of lows, it kind of will. But it also means when that's the case, don't be surprised at any time if it breaks down below, then you might have a decent sized leg lower from where we stand. Lomo coin, LMC, also having a large amount of time within this 18 average. It has had support or had it flattened for quite some time with no attempt whatsoever in establishing a level of resistance, as it has not gotten above the 18 average. For the last few days, his best 2-3 days, it has spent a lot of time at and below the 18 average of lows. So definitely an area for concern that the price action could come down, maybe test in towards the 500 area. LSK is on a beautiful run right now, making a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. For the last week or so, it has spent the time going sideways, congesting within the 18 average of highs for the last 3 periods. And when we take a look at this on a more longer term time frame, it has held and stayed above the previous resistance level that it had broke at the start of the year, and it has held and stayed above it for quite some time. Looking at the 18 average band as it's playing through in here, we can see it's been lifting off from this 18. There definitely could easily be some more upside room potential for this particular coin. Moving on to Litecoin, one of my favorites, of course, and well, it's the highest one I got, but this is the nice breakout in which it's been holding for the short term thus far. Just a quick little update on like the very short term within it. It's holding, staying within this level. This big bottom right now is 210, so it's just there. It's in the middle of this range, so when you're just there, of course, it could come back lower and it could come back higher, but obviously you're just gonna chop around until such a case. I've already talked about upside targets, and then breaking down below here. If it does, you'd be talking about the psychological 2 level, and then even in here at 185. But there's a big reason why I have decided to go very aggressive into Litecoin. I find it a much, much better coin. Litecoin against Ethereum. It's got a nice little pattern on its daily time frame as well. And Litecoin against the dollar doing much better than Bitcoin. Very noticeable break of this downtrend. It has obviously easily established a level of resistance and then some. So any moves that may come back to the band would be stage number 3 for the reversal of trends. LUN is Lunar, which has had a very good job of holding its December, early January gains. You can say this is like a double top formation where you go like it's a reverse U or a reverse V. You go up to a level, you come back. You go back close to that same level, and then you come back. It's basically been holding the same support level for quite some time. That if this level gives in, I'll be looking for support at about the 0.00122 handle, an area in which was last resistance. But more importantly, it's the size of a leg lower you would have. If you learned anything from the 3 bears as a child, you can't have it too small, you can't have it too big, you got to have it just right. So the leg lower can't be too small, which would be like in here, like a 166. It can't be too big because that would be way too low at the, well, just say down here. So you want it just right, which is just the odds that you're most likely going to work out better in trying to, I'm not going to say pick bottoms, but where the areas are most likely to go. MEME, this just got a lot of beautiful these up moves. It's the volatility on this is fantastic, so it's definitely worth holding. You have your sell orders ready to go, but You have a situation of this support level where it's at now. It had some big support there roughly at around the right before Christmas and after such. It came back down there on January the 6th, came back down there mid-January, also did such in the end of the first week of February. And the rally on the last one hasn't been much. So if it goes down below here, I'd be looking for a move probably down to about the 33 handle as its next support level. Mercury, which is something I haven't got this yet, but if I don't think, it doesn't make sense that I do. But if I do, I'll probably be looking for a move down towards here. It's just new something that I'm looking for. Monetary unit. This has got a lot of wild, volatile moves along the way. And right now it's been stabilizing or just staying within this lower end for about a week and a half. And just like before, you had a major support level. It gave in, nice leg lower. So if this gives in, we're probably looking at previous low, which is in around the 1270 area. Still, you got to do a lot of work to revert the trend. NEO, it's in a situation on a sideways consolidation over the last month. And couple of times this level of resistance has been big. It came close to it on the early January rally, but a week or so of price correction down to the 18 average, back to this area again, back down, back to this area again, back down, and that's where it stands. So the volatility is light. It's a very difficult situation when I have a chart like this, because where do you stand from here? You have this weekly time frame where it goes way up, nice price correction, and way up was like from well, let's go the 1400 handle down to like the 200 handle. That's a pretty big decline that it had before. So now it's gotten it all back. Great. So do we have a decent price correction? If it's bullish down to the 50, it could lose like 60% on a bullish retracement. Easy. And I don't know if that's the next move or not. I also know if it breaks out past this resistance, this thing, well, did before, it could have huge, monstrous gains as a possibility. So it's one of those wait and sees. If I'm really unsure with a lot of volatility like this, I'd rather stay on the fence and just watch it. And I don't care if I miss out on big gains. And if it goes down nicely, then I might look towards buying it later on. Here we have NEOS, N-E-O-S, which has just broken down by this level of support. It did such yesterday. And I'd be, I mean, it could be bottom in here, and even this level might be too low. But no, there definitely could be some further downside action. Basically, this might be a very aggressive level to consider where the next support might be. 35, 36 is a decent sized leg, because you look at this low and at 66, then it goes to 50, then it goes to 44, and now it's at 41. So yeah, it could easily find a decent leg lower at like 38-ish is a possibility. NLG, which is golden, you can call this an inverted cup and handle, you can call this a head and shoulders pattern. But however you look at it, it's a bearish pattern situation where it's had to move up to this nice little high, big sell-off. And we're looking at volatility going from 3,700 down to 1,600. So tamer maybe than others, but still wild. But now that the fact that after coming down here, having a big sell-off, you really want to hold this rally. And the 18 average has been falling for the last 3 or 4 days within such that if this thing just falls below here, it wouldn't be a surprise by any means for this price action to go anywhere near into the 1100 range. That's what I think would be the idea. Of course, I'm holding it because whenever it's ready to go, it's ready to go. I've been buying it during, of course, this down dip in here, and I'll add more, of course, if it does go down into the 1100 handle. NXS, which is Nexus, it's in a situation where it has just broken down below this level of support. If you're ever looking for situations of codes that are down and it's just ready to buy, this it's buyable now. I bought it today myself, I think. And I'd be looking for the next key support level to come in at 15 if it goes down below that. buying here. I'm going to look to sell at the 18 average of highs, which is in around 35, so I can right now get a gain of about 30-40% if, of course, my price target of sale comes in, well, when it comes in. NXT has very wild moves, and just within its recent pattern here, after this downtrend, you can call it a little choppy. It's not really doing too much. Attempting maybe to revert the trend as the band has gotten flat. It's really a small level for established resistance, because when you look at the size of these moves compared to before, here you have like these price action days going from like 5,800 to like 9,000. That's close to like 100%. And now we have days of 2,200 lows and 2,363 highs, which is like 6%. So the volatility is so minute. It's got to pick up as well too. Let's go next to OK Cash. We'll finish it off with OMG's Go, and we'll do another part later on. OK Cash, I've slowly gotten in. I think this thing's going to make its way back down to 25. As it's been, you can see the curve, it's like the shape of a head, or however you want to do it. But however, since the bottom on February the 6th, the downtrend has stopped to a sideways consolidation pattern. However, the 18 average is still declining as well. Breaking down below the support, yeah, maybe you go down to 2,300, but a lot of these coins just down below the 18 like this, at some point they're going to get above the 18 and have good moves after, because every single Bitcoin basically does it. Has a bull run from a bear market, stabilizes the 18, has a nice move above it, then it starts to go sideways after a up move, and then down. Markets go up, markets go down. So I know in time they will all go back up again. And speaking of going back up, OMG's Go for the last couple of days has done that, managed to go back to its previous level of resistance after it really never encountered any price corrections. Rather, for the months of January and February, it corrected its move through time. There was a major price correction from the October move down towards here. But this is an amazing pattern when you take a look at this, because you got point A or point top, then you got the low, and then you got what I can tell just by looking at this is pretty much a 61.8% correction, which then stopped going higher, had a nice correction, and as we can see on this daily chart, is starting to leave it. So breaking above this resistance, I'm going to be looking to upside target back to its previous high, in and around the 270 handle up to 325. All right, thank you for tuning in. I'll be back later for P through a few other letters after that. Take care.